Hey everybody, thanks for joining us back out here at the Range Report. And once again, we're not at the range. Today we're going to be talking about something that most of us have a tendency to try and not talk about, and that's firearm maintenance. Well, today we're here at Pro Ultrasonics in North Carolina. We're going to be checking out some of the equipment that they use for what they do here, and that is to clean and maintain a variety of items, but for what our purposes here, firearms. Spent a couple hours at the range yesterday, put a couple of hundred rounds through my trusty 92, and today we're going to put a few of the parts through this, through one of their cleaning systems, and we're going to see just what it does. And Dan, the owner-operator here, is going to give us a little explanation of what the machines do, how they do it, what chemicals you want to use, and later we'll be discussing where you guys can get some of this equipment for yourself, or find somebody who has the equipment and let them maybe take you through a gun cleaning class. We'll be talking about that too. So right now we're going to take a look at one of our newly acquired pieces of equipment. We're going to get an explanation. We're going to run some parts through it. So even though this is not everybody's favorite subject, this is one of probably the most important subjects we have to have, because, you know, they say happiness is a warm gun, happiness is a clean gun. If it's too dirty, it's not doing anybody any good. So we're going to get to the rest of this, and you guys stay tuned. All right, so here we are back with Dan Kench. He's the owner of Pro Ultrasonics, and this model is the model that we're going to be using today. Dan, thanks for letting us come into your shop today and explore the wonders of ultrasonics.
You're totally welcome. We love doing demonstrations.
All right, tell us a little bit about this particular unit.
What we're using here is we're using regular water and a non-hazardous soap, so we can eliminate all those hazardous materials, the hazards to the workers or to the operators. We just have hot water here with a special soap. That soap helps us create thousands of little bubbles, microscopic bubbles that are racing around in the water. And when they hit a part with all that energy, they collapse and create a vacuum on the surface. So we can clean this part without ever hurting the surface. So we don't need to worry about the coatings or the bluing or different materials. We're going to be safe to that material, but yet we're going to hit it with enough vacuum to take off any contamination, whether it's carbon or fouling or oils, greases, all those sorts of things. So that's basically what we're all about.
All right, so anybody who's got concerns about their guns being polymer or Cerakote, or if somebody's got stainless or scandium framed firearms or anything else like that, this is safe to use on all of those things. And are there any restrictions on what kind of parts you would want to put in or not put in for something like this?
The one thing about ultrasound says it does have so much energy, we don't want to abuse it. So we really watch our times. These are really quick clean cycles, maybe 1-2 minutes on a clean cycle. They all have timers. We want to set those timers. We don't want to ever let somebody stick one in and forget about it and go to lunch for a half hour or an hour, because when we come back, again, those microscopic bubbles have hit in that area so many times that it's going to create some cosmetic damage. It'll never hurt it structurally. But still, we don't want to hurt the coatings. We don't want to hurt any of that surface. So we keep our times at a minimum. We keep a nice non-hazardous soap. And it does a beautiful job. To me, this is like a part-time employee. This is like a guy that comes in and cleans your guns for you, while you're doing something else on the bench or you've got other things to do. And it's going to clean your gun the same way every time. It's totally consistent. Doesn't matter if I'm in a bad mood or I'm in a hurry or whatever. This doesn't matter. This is going to clean it pristine every single time.
Now we noticed when we put the fluids in here, it was one temperature. So this thing automatically heats the temperature up to 120 degrees is the operating temperature for this?
Yeah, and it's all automatic. Again, it's got timers. It's got it's got 3 cycles in this. That we have a gentle cycle if we're doing an antique or something that might be a little more delicate or a little more uncomfortable. We can hit it with half the power on the gentle cycle.
Right, so for those guys who have old black powder guns that the metallurgy is not exactly what we would expect today, this would be a lot better than running a wire brush through them.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's actually hurting the surface. It's taking off metal where we would never do that. And that's why we're used in so many other industries like medical devices, aerospace, you know, SpaceX uses us. All those critical components are cleaned with Pro Ultrasonics. And now we've come out with these machines under a new division called Pro Gun Cleaning. So we brought that technology we've been using for 50 years in all the other industries now to gun cleaning. So you get the same precision that you would on a pacemaker. So that's what we're trying to do here, is bring technology to every industry to get the cleanest part possible.
And you can't see it because they're off camera, but there are a couple of really shiny carburetors hanging out over on the shelves over there. So we know that the guys down here in North Carolina is NASCAR country.
That's right.
So we know that these kind of products are being used heavily in that industry as well,
Right.
to keep those parts clean. There's roller bearings under there. There's all kinds of automotive applications for this as well.
Exactly.
So for gearheads like me, this also serves that purpose.
Yep.
But we notice there's a lot of different pieces of equipment that you have. About how many different varieties of these cleaners do you guys produce?
We have 25 standard models in stock here just west of Charlotte, North Carolina. And we do a lot of custom systems. Places like Delta Airlines, SpaceX, larger systems for military, things like that. But our 25 standard unit starts with small home use units, all the way up to, again, large industrial systems that might even need lift tables,
Right.
to lift out a big cat block, we're doing racks of M16s, like 40 at a time. So we developed some pretty big systems based on the customer's needs.
Yeah, there's one back behind you over there that's fully automated. It's
Yeah,
about 18
fully
feet
automated,
long.
yeah.
It's pretty impressive. You wouldn't, not exactly something that you're gonna, probably scratch your nickels and dimes together for. That's a pretty heavy piece of equipment. But when we get into the everyday gun owner, the guy who likes to maintain his own guns, or even a small FFL or shop or something like that, that might have use for this, what are we looking at as far as a sticker price ballpark on something like this?
Our small ones start in the, $300-400 range, all the way up to about $3,000, depending on size.
All right,
We're
so-
going to be doing small handguns, or do we want to get up into to our rifles, our muzzle loaders, things like that.
awesome.
So,
If you got a decent collection and you've already spent the money for it,
Yeah.
and a lot of these guys, they go into reloading. They spend $3,000-4,000 on reloading before they pump one shell out. So, it's just as important to clean them as it is to feed them. So these things definitely have a use for it. Now, we said yesterday, I had my Beretta out at the range. We put a couple of hundred rounds through it, and we didn't use the most premium ammunition on the market, and the gun came back pretty dirty. Now, I'm not going to go through the process of stripping the entire gun and everything else, because there's a lot of parts that are going to need to be addressed. But for now, we just pulled out the recoil spring and guide rod, and we pulled out my barrel. Now, there's a couple of close-ups that'll probably show up right around here somewhere to show you the before pictures, and we're going to run this thing through now, and we're going to see exactly what this cleaner and this solution, now that solution is proprietary to you guys, right?
it is. It's a special soap just for ultrasound, non-hazardous, very good, what we call a splitter. So any greases and oils will come to the top, so that we can get rid of those, periodically, so we don't keep redepositing those greases and oils back on what we did.
And that's the Pro 100 GD soap, right?
That's right.
I didn't have to remember that. It's written on the bottle, just out of camera view, so, All right, so we're going to Dan my parts. We're going to take the camera. We're going to
Okay.
get a close-up on this, and we'll see what this thing does.
And then after we're done doing the barrel, I'm going to show you how powerful ultrasound is. We're going to cavitate, we're going to put this inside of a bowl, a stainless steel bowl. So imagine the inside of this barrel. How do we get that clean? Or how do we get into a chamber that we can't even get into? Those ultrasonic waves are going to go through the bowl, clean inside, and come back out. And we'll show you that afterwards. I'll show you a close-up as we're cleaning inside a bowl, about 2 millimeters of stainless that it's going through.
Cool, a little extra bonus video.
We'll do
I'll give you this. I'm coming to the camera. Next
Okay.
shot is close-up on the tank. All right, so inside of our basket right now is the barrel from my Beretta 92. It is well caked up, and we're going to take a look and see how this stuff performs.
You can see all the contaminants coming off right away. If you look in the barrel itself, it's even coming out the inside of the barrel. You can see those clouds of contamination coming out. See, there's another cloud. And again, this is all hands-free. we put it in and we hit the timer and we can go do something else for a couple minutes.
And this right now, this is on the standard aggressive site.
Yeah, this is on main power now. And again, we do have one that's half as powerful on the gentle cycle. But, 99% of the time we're going to be using full power. It's safe on all metals. It's not going to hurt the venus. Actually, you can see right now we're almost pristine clean already.
Now you can see the surfaces, my wear surfaces that were black, I can see already turning a nice bright silver.
Now, a lot of, most all the manufacturers use this when they make the gun. People from Kalashnikov to all kinds of people in the barrels and so forth.
So you're going to get a lot of milling in oil and cutting lubricant, cutting or thought anything that's got to go through a dye or a press is going to need to be cleaned.
Now that was a 2-minute cycle. What's nice, these parts are going to be warmed, so they're going to dry fairly quickly. Our next step would just to be to rinse this off and then put it in a nice lube and a preservative, a nice oil and preservative. And we have several tanks that are multiple tanks where you can do that within one tank, go from a wash to a rinse to a lube. So you can see it's drying off quickly. We don't need to worry about flash rust right now because the soap that we have has a built-in corrosion and rust inhibitor built in. So it allows us to go back to the bench. See, it's almost dry now.
And plus, I imagine the temperature of the solution also helps in aiding it because it can help it dry off quicker.
Yep, it dries off quicker. Plus, it helps us form those bubbles a little bit easier. That's why we use a little bit of temperature, up to about 120 degrees. Now, in some of our other applications, we go much higher. But again, we want to keep this safe for your use and safe for all the components that we're using. Yeah. So we're pretty much done. Now, let's take a look through a stainless steel bowl.
All right, so now we're going to clean out that guide rod and spring.
We're going to go ahead and turn the unit back on, and I want you to watch quickly. Again, we're going through about 2 millimeters of stainless here. So imagine this is the inside of your barrel or the inside of a blind hole we can't get to.
Wow, that's pretty thick. Wow, look at that. So all those vibrations are penetrating through that barrier of stainless, and what you get with is still cleaning it up. So you can imagine how, if this was in a wire basket like what my barrel was suspended in, there's no difference in the cleaning ability.
And you see how quick it is. We've removed all the contaminants already. But imagine all the little nooks and crannies and blind holes, places that are hard to get to on a weapon. We're going to get in there. Even if we can't get directly to it, we're going to transfer through, come inside, and come back out. So we're about done. That's a matter of maybe 20 or 30 seconds. We'll go ahead and take that out. And again, now it's going to dry quickly. You can see all the contamination in here we took off, how cloudy that is. But again, we're dealing with soap and water here. We don't have disposal issues here. We have dirty water. A lot of our clients will take this after it gets too dirty for ultrasound. It's still a good cleaner. Maybe put this in a small bucket and use it as a pre-wash. If you have a real nasty gun that you haven't cleaned for who knows how many thousands of rounds, stick it in there for a minute before you put it in here. Keep this for your final clean. And again, we're ready to go. Now, over time, greases and oils may build up on top. We can skim those off with a rag. In fact, you can see a little bit right here that we've already taken off. We just skim that off with a rag, a piece of newspaper, or their special oil-only absorbent pads. They can stick on there and they'll suck the oil right off.
All right, so after we got done finishing cleaning my barrel and guide spring and rod, which was really impressive, we want to talk about some of the accessories that are available or that come with this particular unit, and then we're going to talk a little bit about this one. So what do we got here?
So this is 36 inches long, designed for rifles, ARs, again, along with small stuff as well. But we increase the capacity now to where we can do large Large items with the same sort of cleanliness we do small things with. We have small, nice hook-on baskets for our little keepers and things like that. So this is kind of the upper end, although we do go one size larger. We go up to 48 inches long with this same type of system. So we've got kind of the granddaddy here and we've got the baby here. This is a nice unit. It's 12 by 6. Great for home use, great to take care of your collection, great for your firearms. It's going to clean the very same as the large ones, it's just a smaller surface area. So we've got a nice basket size. All these units are 110, we can just plug them in. Regular water, just a little bit of soap. And again, same sort of controls we had before, you know, with the automatic time.
So this does multi-cycle and everything for gentle, which, and as you said, it does have so many different uses. So those of you who have a lot of jewelry, eyeglasses, anything like that, you're talking about the different applications you could have. It's not just for the gun owners. If you got a nice collection of knives you want to keep all spiffy looking, you know, one of these would come in pretty handy. And this is the one that most of the guys who are going to watch this are going to probably want to look to buy something that they could use for themselves at home at an entry price point. This is going to run them about how much?
It's going to run around $300-400.
That's excellent. All right, now you guys have seen what these things can do. We know what the solution. Now, as far as that gallon of solution, we know it's a 1 to 10 ratio. So that gallon of solution is going to get you 10 gallons worth of cleaning solution by the time you're done with it, and it lasts a good long time. How much per gallon are we looking at for the cleaning, and is that the only one you could use for these things?
It's about $30 a gallon, depending on what size quantities you buy. But again, it's very concentrated. It lasts a long time. For home use, you may change it once a year, twice a year. Who knows how much you're shooting. So and in something this small, you're going to use about a half of a cup.
Right.
So a gallon's going to probably last you 2 or 3 years. So we try to keep the expense of running the machine down as low as we can. And in the larger equipment, again, you might have to change it a little more often. But again, we're using less than a gallon here, so about $25 every time you change it out. Which might be every 2 or 3 months, might be, you know, quicker depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, so the more proficient and careful you are with your firearms, you're going to use it a little bit more. Me, I kind of let the, you know, my guns tend to get dirty pretty often because they get a lot of use, and I like to push them to the point of failure so I know just how reliable they are. But this might actually be the kind of thing that would change me a little bit because I probably just enjoy watching the guns get clean.
Well, and now it's easy. There's no excuse. You know, hey, I filled strip it, I put it in here, I hit the button, it goes for 2 minutes, I'm done, I pull it out, I oil it, and I'm ready to go. So there's really no excuse of, I don't have the time, I don't want to get out all of my kit and pull it out and do all that.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's missing. We don't have that scent of hops number 9 in the air over here. But all right, for everybody who might be interested in these things, where can they get your information from? Where can they, you know, see about purchasing one?
On any of our pro gun cleaning equipment, go to our website, you know, proguncleaning.com. On our larger equipment, let's say you're a manufacturer or, you know, you've got a large operation, Pro Ultrasonics.com shows all of our systems, and they link between each other. But pro gun cleaning is specific for firearms. You know, I did want to bring up one thing. You brought up reloaders. This is great for reloading and cleaning your cases, for cleaning what you've got to do there, your brass. We have a special additive that a great system called Vortec. Cleans all the cartridges in ultrasound. So now we don't have to tumble them, we don't have to spend all that time cleaning out the primer area, worry about disforming the case at all or whatever, because we're not banging them against each other, we're not tumbling, so forth. Ultrasound with this is a continual use, it's not diluted or anything, it lasts forever to clean all your brass in. So again, you can clean your guns, you can clean your brass, and you can clean your wife's jewelry. What I would suggest...
That's the get out of jail free card right there.
You buy one of these for your wife, you say Merry Christmas or Happy New Year, Happy Anniversary. I bought you a big jewelry cleaner, honey. And then every once in a while, I might have to use it for my guns. See?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, everything in life is a trade-off. Compromise is what we got to do at home. All right, so Dan, thank you very much for letting
Thank
us
you,
in.
guys, for
And
coming by.
all the links from this are going to be listed down below. Plus, they're also going to be listed. We're going to write a little story about this for the L1F.US website, and all the links and some stills will be put on there. You'll see the stills of my barrel before and after, along within the video, and we'll have a list of the different chemicals and everything, and who you get in contact with. But I kind of got my eye on this one right now. I don't know if I think a peacemaker will fit in there. We got to say. All right, so
Hey, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you.
so you guys be safe and shoot straight.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, so while the guys are back there talking, I took the opportunity to take a couple of close-ups of this thing, and I'm literally just so impressed by how clean this came out. I have been rubbing paper towels on it. I've been sticking Q-tips in it. I cannot find any carbon buildup anywhere on this barrel or on the locking block or anything. Everything is moving freely. It feels as though it's lubricated, even though it isn't, because there's absolutely no debris inside anywhere on this thing. The guide rod is, I've never been able to get my spring as clean as this. It's absolutely insane how clean that ultrasonic system works. I'm almost embarrassed to see how much wear is on the original finish on this thing, because I have never been able to get it clean enough to see it. I mean, I don't know how well you can pick this up, but the finish on this thing, it is so clean. It is ridiculously clean, and I am just stunned by how absolutely pristine this is. Even looking down inside the barrel, I'm looking at the lens and grooves, and it looks new. It really does. And I got a lot of rounds through this gun. It's pretty impressive. It really is. So like I said, whether or not you want to pop for the coin to buy a small one or a big one, if you have the use for it. At least try and find somebody who has one. Get access to one, and see about putting your parts through it. Just for the sake of getting your stuff clean. It's really, really impressive. I cannot say how impressed I really am with this thing. But yeah, just a little bonus footage. This is, like I said, we don't sugarcoat anything here. If something's crap, we tell you if it's crap. If something's good, we tell you it's good. This, unbelievable, unbelievable. And the folks here couldn't be any nicer. So. It's made in America, good company, right here. So, like I said, you guys be safe and shoot straight. This thing's outrageous.